6 of those woes. Maybe that'd be a good another reading assignment this week. Read Isaiah 5. Isaiah talks about the woes to Israel. He pronounces a woe against them. Well, Jude does the same thing here. Let us hear the warning from Scripture today. That's the point here. The pronouncement of the woe on those who go this direction. Who go this direction. 3 different examples here are given. Jude gives us plenty of examples in our Scripture today. And we do well to heed them. Examples that demonstrate 3 specific examples of destruction. Understand this. In this verse 11 are 3 people specifically mentioned. Each one is suffered destruction at the hand of God. Examples that demonstrate 3 specific examples of destruction. These 3 examples in which God still brings judgment shows us when it's needful. Oh, we have firstly, he says, beware, woe to them, for they have gone in the way of Cain. Who is Cain? Well, Cain is Abel's brother. First 2 brothers of Scripture, about Genesis, what about chapter 4, chapter 3, chapter 4, something like that? Adam and Eve have sinned in chapter 3. They're cast out of the garden. After they're cast out of the garden, you have Abel and Cain, the first 2. I believe Abel is the older of the 2, I believe. Abel and Cain. Typical brothers, other than, or they would have been, I guess, but Abel is called the righteous brother. I think Hebrews 11, he's mentioned in Hebrews 11. The righteous brother Abel. Gone in the way of Cain. The two brothers. The righteous Abel, Hebrews 11 calls him. Cain becomes the first murderer of the Bible. Why does he murder his brother? He murders his brother because he refuses. He, meaning Cain, God refuses his offering. God refuses his offering. He offered the best of the fruit of his hand. You think, what's wrong with that? Well, God refused his offering because it wasn't the right kind of offering. Church, if you're going to go to God, understand this. There's a way in which you are to come to the Lord. There's a way in which you're to come to the Lord. God refused his offering because it wasn't the right kind, which is a reminder to us that God has a specific way that we must come to him. What did Jesus say? I am the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father but by me. You must come to God through Jesus. That is the current dispensation we are in. If you'd have lived during the Old Testament times, you'd have been under the law. Under the law, you offered the lamb as a sacrifice. Of course, the lamb being a picture of Jesus, by the way. All that it was involved in the sacrifice of the Old Testament was a pointer to the New Testament. If you try to come any other way to God, you'll find it's the wrong path. One that God rejects. God rejected Cain's because it wasn't right. What was Cain's response? He killed his brother. If you're going to offer something that God accepts, well, I'm just going to kill you for it. Kind of sounds familiar, does it not? Of course, Scripture also says God marked him. God marked him. God does that in the Old Testament sometimes. We've seen that Friday night. Our evangelist brought that out about Jonah. Scripture says God marked him. I didn't know that about what he said there, that there's been evidence to suggest that men, even in modern times, have been swallowed by fish. And I could see that. Gastric stomach juices bleaching their skin. I could see that. Marked by God. God does sometimes mark. He does that sometimes. Then, secondly, he says here, Jude tells us that they ran greedily after the heir of Balaam. For they have gone in the way of Cain, and they ran greedily after the heir of Balaam for profit. What's the story here? Well, we have this story. Go back to Numbers chapters 22 through 20.